Hello, hello. It's so nice to see you. I'm Avalon, and this is Voice Notes from the Chrysalis, a 21 episode podcast where I share all the golden nuggets from being completely transformed over the past 5 years in celebration of the launch of my digital course, Discover Yourself. I'm so excited. And today we are talking about how our brains are supercomputers. All right. So this is, again, just informal voice notes, me talking to you like you're my bestie. I have a hot take that our brains are supercomputers. And there's a neuroscientist out there called Emily McDonald. Her handle is M on the Brain. And she has a lot of information about this and other cool neuroscience things. But I have experienced in this life firsthand, and I bet you have too. So I feel like we think about our brains like like just another organ, and I feel like we have an understanding that like there are synapses, and we maybe have I have a visual of like these squiggly little nerve cells being close together and there being an electric charge that bounces off between them, and that's a thought. Or that's a chemical reaction in our brain. But there is levels of our consciousness and levels and parts of our brain. And I have realized that there's my conscious brain, there's my conscious thoughts, there's the things that I'm aware of in my head. There's also our unconscious and our subconscious. And apparently that is what's running the show of our lives. That is all of our like unconscious thoughts, our unconscious beliefs, our assumptions, our perceptions, the things that we default to. And I have learned to lean into this like a tool. So just to explain what I'm talking about, when you have something that you need to do or want to do, and you've been procrastinating on it, and you are aware of the thing you need to do. And sometimes maybe this doesn't apply for if you are need to call your dentist, and it's probably actually going to take 10 minutes or less. But like, what if it's something you want to make? What if it's something you want to create? What if it's a process that you need to go through? What if it's like something that you want to talk about in therapy, but you are procrastinating making that thing, talking about it in therapy, having that conversation. You are aware of it, but you're procrastinating on it. But then I think we've all had this experience where we've procrastinated, but then we actually go to do it and it takes us 20 minutes or less, and we thought it would take like the whole day. Like emotionally we had built up this huge thing in our head that it was going to take a really really long time and be really really draining, but it actually happens super fast. In my opinion, that is our brain being the supercomputer, because while were aware of that thought, while we were aware of that task, that thing we wanted to make, the conversation we wanted to have, the thing that we wanted to create that didn't already exist, we knew about it. And the back burner of our brain, the supercomputer of our brain, which I don't think we can even wrap our heads around like what that even means. This is just the term that like has worked for me to kind of like access this part of my consciousness that isn't actually conscious or that I'm actually aware of. But that unconscious part of our brain knew about that idea and knew it was coming and knew what we cared about, knew what it was important to us about that, knew why we were nervous about it, and was working on it in the back of our mind and was preparing for us to do it. That's why it took so little time. That's why it took so little energy, because our brain had already been preparing for it and rehearsing it for a long time, for however long you were procrastinating it. And I also feel like not only is that part of our brain helping us prepare, I think that sometimes that part of our unconscious subconscious knows things that we don't consciously. I mean, it does. Arguably, it does. Neuroscience says that your unconscious knows things that your consciousness does not. And at least when it comes to creative things, also conversations, like interpersonal conversations I've had to have, where I think that And you can put it on like, divine timing or divine intervention. But I also think that my unconscious like played a role in almost sometimes like delaying things until I'm ready or delaying things until pieces have fallen into place. So I have been using this as a tool for consciously when there is something that I want to make and I don't know how I'm going to make it. There's a conversation I want to have and I don't know how to best have that conversation. There's a thing I want to do, but there's like resistance to it and it's a familiar kind of resistance where I'm like, okay, I literally will tell, okay, supercomputer brain is what I'm calling it. But you can say, hey, subconscious Avalon, hey, subconscious mind, think about this. Take this into consideration, work on this, and when it's time to do the thing, when everything is ready and in place to execute on this, let me know and make it really clear and don't let me miss those signals. And it works. I swear it works. The most recent example for me is that I had an idea for a video that I wanted to make about my laptop. And I had a whole vision and I recorded that whole vision and I like previously like scripted out that video, recorded it, and then was completely stuck on it for 2 months. Well, 6 weeks because 2 months later I actually like made the video. But the thing is I needed to wait until certain pieces were in place because I decided that I like saw a video about that 6 week mark. Another video that inspired me, and I wanted to do, I ended up using a quarter of the footage. I wanted it to be quicker, snappier. I wanted there to be more humor in there. I wanted this video really to represent, like, if I had to sell a product, how would I want to do it? That was the problem I was solving. And I was doing it for free. This is just like an example. It was like literally a part of my portfolio um, and that I wanted to make and just show this is how I would do it if you gave me this assignment. Um, yeah. And then the video that resulted was quick and snappy and had humor in it and actually was so much easier to record and film than I like even realized. And like the first version would have been like a minute and 30-second long video, and this was, I think, less than a minute. The like that video like on YouTube Shorts got over 1,000 views. So it did a lot better than I think the longer form, kind of like boring, like let me unbox this laptop, when really I turned it into a relatable, put a finger down, cutesy little video and used a new like editing feature, green screen effect that I hadn't used before. And but I didn't know that. The thing that's important here is my conscious mind was fully bought in to that original idea. And I had the time, I had the capability, but I could not make myself finish that video. I was like, the more I touched it, the more I worked with it, the more I thought about it, the more I hated it. But it was like a very slow progression. I was like, I'm like so stuck on this video. And it took, I think my subconscious brain knew that there was a different way, a better way for me to share that idea. And it took the time that it needed. And then once I had my aha moment, I'm like, no, this is how I actually want to do it. Then it took off. It was super easy to film, super easy to edit, even though I was using a new feature I'd never used before. Yeah, it was super easy and it was well received. So I really believe in the power of our minds and our brains, and I think that we can intentionally use this as a tool and realize that our our brains are supercomputers. And so now I will, if there is something, I will use this in a couple different ways. If there's something I want to create and I don't know what the vision is, if there's like, I have a purpose, like I want to make a video for my portfolio and like show how I would sell a product. Like maybe I have that. And I will be like, okay, supercomputer brain. That's what I call it. How would you do this? Once you have it figured out, let me know. And it does. It like literally that idea will just pop into my conscious mind. Or it might be in a more manifesty kind of way, being like, okay, I want to experience this thing. I want to get invited to this kind of event. I want to get this kind of coupon. I don't know how that's going to happen, but I want to go to an event and feel really well taken care of. And I don't care if it's a public event, I don't care if it's a potluck, but I really want to experience this sensation of being surrounded by community. But I don't know how or where or when that's going to happen. And I will ask, okay, supercomputer brain, this is what I want. Let me know when you figured it out. And then it will, like, an idea will pop into my mind, or I will see an event on Facebook. I'm like, oh, that's the thing. I want to go to that. Like, oh, like, I want to do a photo shoot and feel really cute and wear like a certain outfit, but I don't know what kind of outfit I want to wear. I just know how I want to feel in the outfit. And my brain will literally figure out what without me having to worry about it. That's the beauty of this is I don't have to worry about it. I don't have to think about it. I literally like it's very similar process honestly to like giving it up to God, only God is my brain. That sounds very sacrilegious. Um, but like I mentally have handed it off to somebody else to handle. But somebody else is me and my unconscious, my subconscious, my supercomputer brain. But it works. It really, really works. And our brains are so much more powerful than we realize. I swear, this is science. Go look it up. M on the brain, Emily McDonald. You're welcome. And yeah, so while I have been deeply and completely transformed, this is just a pattern that I've noticed that has stayed consistent. Like, honestly, this pattern has surfaced through like my whole experience of being transformed over the past 5 years. And this is just one little trick that has helped me live my life for me. And speaking of living my life for me, my digital course, Discover Yourself, features 3 exercises that I wish I had when like 5 years ago, at least 3 years ago, that would have saved me so much burnout, so much time, so much directionlessness, so much lost, be like so much time being lost. And these are 3 exercises that cost me 5 years and $20,000 because I experienced them through a variety of different programs and I marinated on them over the years and realized that there's a certain spin I would like to put on them. So if you're curious about that, head to my website, Discover Yourself course. Check it out. It releases on December 21st for the early birds at a very special price. You can sign up for free to be an early bird, or it's open to the public on December 28th. So I am so, so excited, and I will see you soon on the next episode of Voice Notes from the Chrysalis. Yay! Thank you!